You see these Nigerian banks? These banks, you understand? We full inside Nigeria. When we say you go just there like this, they go debit you. Then you say card maintenance, this one, that one. It will interest you to know that your electricity distribution, in fact, the privatization that happened in the electricity sector, it was actually handed over to the banks. Now, what you see, say, electricity tariff, it go up, You understand? And they don't give you any service. So now, the way they carry come about and say, cost reflective tariff. You know, they see value for the way they pay. They bear their own cost. But when they give you value, no value. That can only be given by Nigerian banks. Make I play for one, and that's why I go understand how the Nigerian banks, when you hear discos, electricity distribution companies, when you hear they privatize electricity sector, no say na banks they carry them handover, and they hand them over to banks using proxies. When government tell you say they subsidize, people buy them, but they bought it indirectly with the banks, and those people that bought it. Now people with the government. As I cast this up, this might give us they come directly from the horse's mouth. When I go here from Joe Ajero, NLC chairman, and he happens to be the business way they do happens to be this electricity business. So him no waiting they sub. Oh, now they hear me. We are listening to our NLC chairman, Joe Ajero.
What happened was that there was an arrangement to give the sector to some individuals through proxies. Those individuals took money from Nigerian banks and say that they have taken over the power sector. 3 planks. There must be technical competence, managerial ability, and FDI, foreign direct investment. No one couple came into Nigerian economy, and I'm saying it here tomorrow, by virtue of the privatization of electricity in the country. Now, sooner than they take over, we started experiencing both liquidity problem and crisis in those companies. 80% of the so-called privatized companies have been taken over by the banks. Abuja here, Benin, Ibadan, almost all. Now, this shows you that that's where and the banks are managing the power sector. They don't have the competence. The banks that took over the power sector are the people running it.
So what you're saying is Nigeria's electricity problem is a wicked problem. That defies,
you can't defy, don't even know how to solve it.
Defies all logic.
Yes, it is being solved on the basis of cost, because the bankers are the best people running it now, not based on any technical sound knowledge.
You hear them. Wait till you hear for there. When they wanted to privatize over 10 years ago, they said they hand them over to these schools, electricity distribution companies. Those people go collect loans from banks to run them. Oh, now they hear me. Those loans now when they collect from banks, who know the agreement when they sign with the banks? So the banks are in charge. Or when you just say electricity tariff don't go, now bank increase them more. Now, this English when they speak now, cost reflective tariff. Say now gas, they use the power, their distribution, whatever. Say now gas, so as they buy the gas. For the electricity, where you know the CO, then they drive down the cost of that gas to customers. Are you getting it? So like this now, that expensive tariff go come down, no, it could go up because banks, you don't hear say banks come down before. You don't hear say interest come down, interest rates for bank come down before. No be up, it go. So take it for your mind, say up. Now we they go now. Just like the Nigeria situation, nothing goes up, that comes down. Oh, now they hear me. You get another thing we do Ajero talk. We consign this power, these discos and their distribution, whatever. Already hear me. We can play that one for one so that we go understand the wuru where they inside this matter.
the Minister of Power's press briefing today, where he made quite a number of points. He says, look, we have to gradually ease off from, subsidy. It has to be gradual. We cannot drop subsidy in electricity all at once. Do you support that to start with? And he says, look, 2.9 trillion earmarked for 2024 subsidy on electricity, that it does not make sense to use about 10% of the national budget to address subsidy issues.
Yeah, these points are very shameful, so to say, that he's talking of privatizing electricity and then government taking over in a deregulated sector. That's how today the minister doesn't have the powers to regulate cost or anything in the power sector because they have handed it over to the private sector. So what is he doing there? Two, they don't have right to subsidize a private man's business. Tell him I said so. If I bought a disco and then you are subsidizing me higher than the tune at which I bought the disco, what do you think he's doing? Tell him it's a prodigal economy. The entire power sector was sold at about 400 billion. And he's telling you that this year alone, that they will subsidize by 2.something trillion. Tell me, what is he doing there? Another person's business. Private business. So all this is saying to some of us who knew that they privatized over 10 years ago, and they told us that government has no business in business.
Right.
So what is he doing now? So I don't really, that's why I said, let them come up to tell us whether they have taken over the power sector and they are now micromanaging it, or is it still in the hands of the private sector and they are subsidizing other people's business.
Up to 67%,
yes.
according
so we need to, when we get this, some of us can now give informed commentary on them.
You don't hear? Joe Ajero, they ask your minister of power, we come and talk this thing. Say they are looking forward to living the era of electricity. What it consign Nigerian government now consign to give subsidy to the private sector. Now una get them, una never privatize them. Private man business, una want to deregulate. Una don't privatize, una say una want to deregulate. How possible is it? You are giving subsidy to a private man business. Now that's why I tell you, say now them buy them using proxies and the banks got involved. So this subsidy now them they chop them, because how is it logical that you sold something to somebody and you are subsidizing? That's a business that you sold to the person. Or the possible to the tune of 2.9 trillion naira, 10% of our national budget for this year. Hell, they will lie. That guy pieces. What is the way forward? We gonna hear way forward. I wanna go here, wanna go see where our problem they inside this country as it take touch power. Now still from Joe Ajero, you go hear him. Watch.
What is the way forward? What needs to be done? What are the critical steps that must be taken now if Nigeria's energy sector will be fixed?
Well, I think we got it wrong from beginning, because you don't privatize what does not exist.
The beginning, of course, would be the privatization.
Of the privatization
2013.
process. Yes.
Right.
You don't, by that time, in fact, it was President Yaradua that said, wait a minute, for about 3 years, let us see whether we can, improve the sector before you privatize, so that you don't privatize darkness. You don't privatize what is not in existence. Now, where do you start? The power generation aspect. They have built about 4, 5, 6 power plants. Papalanto, Motosho, Girigu, and all that. When they build, they give it to private people. And the areas they are building these power plants, the sources of energy is not there. Political power plants. If I'm from a community, I'll build a gas plant in my community when there's no gas. So I will now construct a gas pipeline, probably from Bayelsa to Lagos or to Sokoto. Far from it. Because the diversity of energy sources in Nigeria are such that Yola, Meduguri, whatever you do solar, the heat there will assist you. Enugu, Benue, Kogi, the coal deposit there, one plant built by ESCO in South Africa generates about, that is run by coal, about 2,000 megawatts. Maybe Katsina and other areas, you look at wind turbines.
Right.
And maybe the Niger Delta area, the gas and whatever. And then you see all the Niger state areas where you have hydro plants. You have a mix. And then by the time you have sufficient power generated, you can now look at the transmission network, which is the vehicle. And they're not telling you about GE contract. What has that got? When they get GE contract to to construct lines that will convey about 8,000 megawatts. When we have 8,000 megawatts already, that contract is out of place.
Oh, another here. Instead of building power distribution stations for areas where the source of power they carry and they go their villages where the source of power no dey. And when I hear the example where they give there, they go carry gas power station, go build a place like Castena or Lagos, and then lay pipe from Bayelsa to Lagos to be supplying gas. Whereas you can build it in Bayelsa where the source of supply, you understand, where the energy supply is, then get gas, you could build that. But you can't go your village, then come the lay pipe. Another cost too. And I hear what the man talk. See, this thing is very, very simple. There are different sources of energy. When you come to solar, Gawa Sokoto, go to Sokoto, go to all this there, where sun the mama there, build the power station there, because the source of power is there. You need coal, the one where they use coal to generate. When I come to Enugu, Benue, Kogi, then get coal, build one there. The source of power is there. They don't go down, but you cannot go to their village where the source of power no there. You need gas. But they are south, they get gas. Crude oil, they get gas. There, you go power and build that for there. Hydro too, build that for there, they get water. Or go Lagos, go build. You need the one way, now wind they turn. You understand? Go Castina. All those places where wind they blow away, go build them. But no, they go carry go before that village. When not in day, then come they spend our money to the drag pipe or the drag whatever they are dragging to the source of the energy supply. Rubbish. You hear them? That is our problem. So, if you are expecting power to come down anytime soon, you are lying, because why? Chief Woya. Banks are involved. And as they take the debit all the time, the debit, even though what you do, I do what you do, they debit you. That's why they go, the debit us. Power is not, or you ask yourself, they privatized over 10 years ago. 4,000 megawatts. Have they added even 1 megawatt on top of that 4,000? No. What are they doing? Sucking Nigerians. Try. I go say on later.
Imagine a country where its citizens get to enjoy the road without this. Imagine a country where unprecedented fuel scarcity does not cause panic at the filling station. That is why Innocent Vehicles has embarked on manufacturing environmental-friendly gas-powered cars while still offering comfort, luxury, and doggedness for the African roads. Innocent Vehicles, the pride of African roads.